Dreaming and streaming. Hey everybody, it's Eric. I'm making the game. The game is called the Godkiller. The Godkiller. I'm gonna try something for a little while. I'm not gonna throw bullshit at you at the beginning, like no more than my normal amount that can't help but creep in. But I don't know. It's the thing, like if I'm always starting off with nonsense, what if I want to say something that's true? What if I want to say something that actually I believe? And I've had this pattern of starting every single stream for the last month or so with not only ridiculous bullshit, but delivered in a deadpan style of giving you truth, and then at the last second kind of switching it away into something that is ridiculous. No, there's a few things here and there that I want to say that are just what I actually believe, and they're not meant to be silly. And now that I say it out loud, I'm wondering what do I have like that? Okay, here's one thing. So when I was a kid, my dad would ask me to mow the lawn. This is true. I'm not making up a nonsense story this time. Okay, my dad would ask me to mow the lawn, and I hated mowing the lawn. I was really kind of lazy, like a lot of teenagers were. And sometimes he would give me a call in the afternoon, like before we came home from work, and say, "Hey, did you mow the lawn?" And I knew I had all the time in the world to mow that lawn. At least it seemed to me I did. I had hours. He wasn't getting home till 8, 9, something like that. Just a crazy amount of time. Mowing the lawn's only going to take me an hour. So I'd just say, "Yeah, I got it done. I got it." And I didn't have it done. I did not have it done. And then I would play video games or something, and by the time he got home, lo and behold, the lawn wasn't done. And yeah, I don't know. How does that relate to what's going on now? So, like, when you say something that isn't quite right, and you know that, like, the reality is diverging from what you said, it creates a little bit of stress. That stress is called cognitive dissonance. And I said something in good faith yesterday that I was done, 100% done with my player guide, which was a little bit like W saying mission accomplished on the aircraft carrier, because I forgot there is at least one more thing that I need to do on it. I'll get to that. But I like to avoid this cognitive dissonance, and also there's a thing. I know some of the people that listen to this, they're maybe towards the beginning of their journey in becoming a software engineer or a game coder. Some of them may or may not get there, but right now it seems pretty cool to go write some code for games, and that's awesome. I hope you get to a good place with that. Thought maybe I'd share like some of the more intermediate level concepts that you're going to get as you go along. When you work on a team with a job, you'll get this stuff. But even before that, when you're just screwing around with your own code, your own projects, there are some things that, like, those corporations and teams and professional developers do that you might want to pull into your thinking early. Okay? So there's this idea of technical debt. Technical debt is when you complete a task and everything works, but there's something that you're going to have to do later, and it's still waiting there for you. Okay? So when you hack something together really fast, and you don't take much thought to the design of it, you'll see the feature up and running, but maybe later on you've got bugs and they're hard to fix, or you try to add like some new code, you try to add like like you get one feature working in your game, like you get like this really cool gun thing and it shoots bullets, and the bullets are awesome. And you put a little animated GIF on Reddit, and everyone goes +1 like +1 like. But then you take that same code and you apply it to a different enemy, and you notice suddenly your frame rate nosedives, or you get some weird exception, or the bullets from the first enemy's gun seem to cause the bullets from the second enemy's gun to disappear when they're midway through their journey. You know, so that's technical debt, when you don't do things the right way to start, and it gives you a lot more work to do later to arrive at a full, complete game or software project that's delivered. In this exercise of streaming, if I get too focused on certain results within the stream, it lends itself to accruing technical debt, things that I'm going to come back later and fix. So I wanted to, in my head, have a accurate idea of how much work is left to do, and I want to have less surprises with bugs and things I got to fix and things I got to redo later on. So when I say something's 100%, that means I don't know of anything that I'm going to have to do to make that game element ready to ship. And I want to take the player guide to 100%, the axles to 100%. I already declared the axles 100%, but I want to get the player guide there too. I just got to do a little more work here to be free of the technical debt, to properly say that I'm at 100% with the player guide. I talked a long time there. I meant everything I said. For anyone who's noticed the pattern of nonsense, this is the thing I've said in the last little bit. That's what I actually think, and it's advice I actually give to people who are writing code in a game and don't want their game to fall apart when you're halfway through. So let me do a demo. Let me show you what I did yesterday, which I'm really, really happy about, really excited about. Okay. Hit the play, hit the play, hit the play. Spinning, spin, spin, and we start. Okay. So as I've been explaining in almost every session over the last 4 or 5 days, there's a guide around the player. These squares, these pink squares, are part of the guide. They give you an idea of what the consequences of one of 4 actions will be. Moving north, west, south, east. Right now these squares are just simple squares that are right adjacent to the player. But if you're in a more complicated situation, those squares can show up differently. So I come here, and now instead of having that neat little, is pentamino the right word? The 5 interlinked squares right next to each other, I've got one square off over here, which means that if I go east, I'm going to slide across the ice, this is ice here, and end up in the square. South, you can't quite see the whole thing, but there's a square way down here, which means I can slide all the way down there to get to it. Okay, so I'll go east to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, and now it shows that if you go west, you're going to slide across the ice again. Now these things, spikes, they're deadly. They're spikes. You see some, a handful of spikes over here. There's also this guy up here who is responding to me and moving towards me to try and push me around and kill me. Okay, so if I come over here, now there's a little floating skull over the spikes, and that means that if I go north, I'm going to die. I'll go ahead and do it. Alright, so I died, and I was instantly teleported to the egg, which is, it's almost like being teleported. The level doesn't reset, you just move to the egg and when you die. Enemies do that too. Okay, so showing a few more situations. There's these little triangles here, that indicate that if I move north or east, I'm going to get pushed in the same direction as the arrow indicates. Okay, so if I go east, I'm gonna, this guy right here, this guy in black, he's going to push me south according to this arrow, and it happened just like the arrow said it would. If I come up here on the wall, these walk guides, they actually show steps at different elevations. If I was high up in the sky, which I will be in a little bit, actually now it's kind of hard for me to get high up. But like if I was going to step off of a long height, a ledge, the pink square would be far below me and show me where I would land. Okay. Now some situations are more complicated. Let me see if I can get one that's sufficiently complicated to give you an idea of just how powerful this prediction is. I almost had it there. I'm trying to get to something non-trivial. Would you stop dying, you idiot? Come on down here. Okay. So now this one's showing, this isn't quite the complicated situation I wanted to describe, but I can be pushed south, I can be pushed east, I can skate across the ice to the east and die. Okay, here's a good one. If I go west here, not only will I be pushed, but I'll die, because this guy will slam into me and push me against the wall, and that will kill me. Let's see if I can find another good one. I wanted to find one where he'll push me into spikes and kill me and show that. Come back down here. Stop dying on me. There we go. Okay, here it is. So here, if I moved west, I would be pushed by this guy. There's the push warning here, and I would die as a result of the push on the spikes. I'll show you what it looks like when I do it. Doesn't really look like much of anything. You just get teleported really quickly to this egg up here. So that's why these predictions are important for somebody learning the game. You don't need them. You don't need them. You could, like, when I add a setting, you could turn this off. But like if they were turned off, you could play the game just fine. And they're subtle because, you know, you should be able to ignore them if you don't really want to use them. Okay. In fact, they don't appear all the time. They appear after a slight delay, so you have to come to a rest. It's like a half-second delay. Okay, so the thing that is maybe not apparent is what's going on underneath the hood. It's running 4 extra copies of the game and performing the command that you could potentially issue, but you haven't issued yet, and evaluating the results of that command being executed. So I don't have to write an extra set of code that predicts what the results of an action will be. That's what I had before. I got to delete all that code and replace it with this other thing. The skull looks really good in the dark. Anyways, that's the demo. Now tonight, I've got an appointment I've got to make. So I'm gonna push a little bit hard to see if I can finish this feature in this session. If I can't, trust me, I will get it done tonight, maybe off stream. The progress every day thing beats in my heart, and I don't like to leave a task unfinished once I start it. Okay. So I was mentioning earlier the axles, they're not yet participating in this. And I'm working through some ideas to get them to work with it. Axles are, you'll see them, but they're basically these giant rotating walls with spikes on them. So I started writing out a little pocket design here. And it's a non-trivial problem. I'm really hoping I can get it done in 40 minutes, but man, that is not much time. So I'm going to be a little bit quiet, a little less explanatory. This stuff is complex enough that it's difficult to explain anyways. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 down. Put a little separator in the chat window so I can more easily see if anyone comes on. All right. This is my favorite option right here. Go pee. has a lot of chair squeaking. Okay. Okay, I really think number 3 is it. So that's what I'm going to go forward with. This one, nah, it's ill-conceived. What about this one? I think it's got logical problems because there could be multiple axles that are changing the state in the shared space between them, so I'm not going to be able to set up a snapshot of how one axle should always be in each of the 4 rotations. So I think this number 3 is the best solution that I've got. Okay, so I'll start with making a new class. I'll call it Peace Pool. I think I already made some other pools, and I don't want to depart from the interface I used there if it was good. Not much of a pattern to use here. But the basic idea of creating a fixed length array is just fine. So let's do that. Okay, so let's say private piece on the other hand, I might just do it with a deck. So if I do a deck, or stack, stack, piece, pieces. It's new. Well, don't initialize it yet. Let's say I don't know, there might not actually be any point in wrapping stack. It might just have everything in it. So if I say pieces, what was it, NQ, push and pop. I don't know if there's any reason to wrap this. Alright, let's do without it. And as soon as I delete this, I'll find, probably annoyingly, that I want it. So actually, let me just, instead of deleting it, I'll just say to do delete me if not needed. Okay. And go back to the axle controller. Let's say there's a lot in here. Wow. Wow. This is the most complicated game element I have. Okay. Stack. Might as well make it the same type. Spikes piece. Spikes pool. Will not allocate it yet. Spokes pool. Spokes and spikes make up the element along with the axle. Now, you know what I could do? I was thinking about the initial allocation. I don't really need to set it on the constructor. Don't really need to. I could do it one of two ways. I can just set the thing like to the maximum number, which is a little bit wasteful, but not really wasteful. Computers are friggin' powerful. Max, spoke, count. And I mean, we're talking about waste in the tens of bytes, or maybe hundreds, but we're not getting up to K here, even if we have like a whole bunch of axles in one one level. If I find I have an issue with memory, I can optimize this. Okay, so then let's get some consts for that. Let's say what? I can't have a const? Oh. So it's going to be 6 times 4, 24. Okay. New spokes piece. Okay. So the way to do this one is we encapsulate this inside of a function that returns a new spoke. Okay. Spoke piece. Get spoke from pool. I'll pass in like all the variables I want to set on it. Let's just do it. CRH. Okay. Does it return null? Alright, if there's nothing to return, I'm hoping it returns null. C# stack pop. No, you gotta check. You can't rely on it to return null, so you want some property count, I think, is what I want. Yep, that's it. Okay. So we'll say if spokes pool spoke pool count equals 0, we'll create a new spoke piece. Basically want to do this. Let's copy this over here. Okay. Also, we'll do touch actions. Then we have to set the CRH to the new one. We also have to set the touch actions. Nothing to do that. Gotta add that. This is definitely the most complicated game element in the game. I'm a little apprehensive about making changes to it. But changes must be made. It's code that is complicated enough that I just want to be done with it, and I have any more changes to make to it, I can forget about it and stop thinking about it forever. Which I thought I had already reached that point, but I had not. So spoke piece, set touch actions, touch actions. I know what it's saying here. It's saying you don't need an else. That's redundant since you already returned above. Okay, I returned the spoke piece that came from the pool. Okay. So this CRH, touch actions. This should work as it did before. I just can't have this thing where I'm continuing to create new pieces and allocate new pieces. It's bad for performance. It's also bad for my synchronization scheme, which is needed for the prediction to occur. Okay, so that's the removing side of it, or the removing from the pool. There's another place where I'm going to have to add to the pool. It should be like remove spoke. Yeah, so remove spoke. There it is. Alright, so this should be the spoke piece. And this is going to throw an exception if I'm wrong. And it's not a spoke piece, but this assertion has not been firing for me, so I feel like this is a pretty reliable piece of code here. I can take that out, change a debug assertion into a boom, your code won't work exception. So the spokes pool, the spoke pool will get a spoke piece added back into it, and that spoke piece will be available when it's needed. Okay, so that covers spokes. Oh, it's so late. Time is flying by. I think I might have to split this task in two parts. My first part is just going to be to get memory allocations to work as they should. Second part is going to be the synchronization that's needed for the player guide to predict. Okay, because I've got to go real quick to do an errand tonight, move somebody. Okay, so it spikes. So this is similar. Let me see. Spikes piece. Goals. And we say that if spikes piece equals null, no, not equal null, then we'll add this spike into the spikes pool. Same down below. Norman! It is a happy Friday. God damn it. I'm about ready to stop my stream right when you show up. Who's your friend? Pop glass car. Good to see your chat, buddy. Miss having you and others around there for sure. What's going on? Is Headstorm keeping you busy? That's good. That's good. Because you're like employee number 2 or 3. They owe you. They got to keep you busy. There's what, Challen and then you, right? Hop was number 2. Yeah. Wait, okay. How'd it go though? It was Lawrence, and then Hop was the first hire. Okay, Nick was number 2. Wow, Nick went way back. Really? You were number 3? Jeez. That's the history right there. I don't know. If you guys are hopping on, I gotta show Hop my game a little bit. I might stop what I'm doing just so I can show Hop my silly little game. I'll give you a proper tour. Let me just get these compilation errors out. It'll take longer to put that back then, just to go forward a little bit. Let's see. Spikes piece. Remove spikes. I'll have it return a spikes piece. And we'll say return. Oh, add to do so I don't forget. To do return spikes piece if removed. Alright, see if this will just compile for me so I can just do a quick demo. Alright, I think I can get it going. Alright, please don't blow up on me when I'm trying to impress Hop. Game, please don't blow up on me. Okay. So this is the main character that you control. This thing right here in the middle. Her name is M, and it's what I call a stepping game, meaning that it's like turn-based, but not so slow as that. As soon as you take a step, everything in the world updates in response. So this guy over here is an enemy who's coming towards me, and he wants to come push me around, but he'll only move after I move. When you move entirely into another square. The commands available to you are north, south, west, east. Okay, then there's flinging, which is you hold down the shift key. And you can move all the way in that direction after you've chosen to fling. You're always inside of one square at a time. Even if there's a little bit of animation, logically speaking, you occupy one square, other things are all inside of one square. So it's very grid-based. What I've recently done is made it so that these pink squares around the player, thank you, they predict what will happen when you move there, and they do it by running 4 extra copies of the game in the background in an extra kind of background thread thing, and seeing what the results are. So I move, and then it runs like 4 copies of the game, and it sees, okay, if you went south, we tried it, you died. Here's the result. There's a little death marker over the top of those spikes. Don't go that way. The other thing that's a little bit harder for new players to get used to is, what are the rules for when you get to push something or they get to push you? Right now I get to push this guy. He goes flying. Still. Okay, let me me see if I can get it to where he's pushing me. Okay, so here's an example. If I move east, in response, this guy's going to slide all the way across the ice and push me. That's why there's a little arrow here that's pointing south. Means you go east, you're going to get pushed. After a while, you sort of internalize all these kind of interactions, but the guide's there to help you make sense of it as you start out. There's things like blocks, which I had a year ago working, and Norman was on those sessions when I was just making them work, which was kind of, yeah. Okay. Then there's camera stuff. You go underneath a ceiling, the camera ducks down, shows you where you're at. Thank you. Yeah, they're musical. They play in a musical key. So all the notes selected are, right now it's in the selected C major key. If I change the key to something else, they do a different sound. So if I die, I go to the egg. Okay. I'll show you another level that's a little more, it's got some other stuff in it. Let's see. Project scenes. Let's see. What am I on? Delete me 1 or 2. Delete me 1. Go to delete me 2. Yep. It is Unity with C#. It's actually kind of nice to have typing. If I kept going with JavaScript, I would be way into TypeScript. It looks like maybe some update I made didn't get transferred over. Anyways. So there's like all this kind of 3D world exploration stuff. Probably I just need to I'm not equipped to demo everything right now, looks like, but there's more stuff. Oh yeah, .NET. So like C# is nice, but it does like slow you down in some cases. I do miss being able to just say the data is the object, period. So if you've got like some big JSON structure, you just whoomp into a object instance and it's all there. I might be curious about getting into F# later, since it's like the functional version of C#. But yeah, I gotta bail on you. I gotta go get my son-in-law to move him out of his house that he's not getting evicted out of, but like the situation there means he can't stay there anymore. Alright, yeah, thanks for dropping in. Yeah, I gotta take off. But Norman, Hob, have an awesome weekend. Hope to see you around someplace sometime. Alright. See you, man. Stopping the stream. Stop it. Stop it.